everyone, and welcome back to a brand new speed build. Today I have a cozy Japanese home for you guys, and I'm so excited to share this, not only because I absolutely love this build, but also because it's built for one of you guys. So if you missed it in last week's video, I did talk about it and I have posted about it lately, like on my community tab and on my socials and stuff like that. But I am back to building houses for you guys. If you want me to build you a house, I do have a form in the description box that you need to fill out, just because it's the easiest way for me to like have all of them in one place, and then also I do get all the info that I need, instead of me having to ask you like 20 questions. So yeah, if you want me to build your house, you can go through that form, and this is exactly what this person did. So yeah, they asked me to build them this house, and I did, and I am in love with it, and I hope you guys like it as much as I did, and as much as the person who I ended up building this for did. So yeah, so moving on and talking about like the build. So like I said, it's for one of you guys, which means that I had the form, like I had what I needed to build for, and it's so much fun building for you guys because I have like an actual like family that I'm building for, because normally when I build houses I might have a family like in mind that I'm building for, but the majority of the time I don't. I kind of just go with the flow. I kind of just like make things up as I go. But I've realized recently that I like having like someone to build a house for, if that makes sense, like a family and like a family dynamic and stuff like that. And since I started doing this again, I have built so many fun houses, which you will see. However, I will say that because this is built for someone, if you do want to download this from the gallery, it will not be the first build that is uploaded to my gallery as like the most recent build, if that makes sense. Because normally I upload the build obviously to the gallery the same day as I upload it to YouTube. So like when this build is out, it is out on the gallery as well. However, since the build for one of you guys, it has been up for, I don't know, maybe a week or two, something like that. So if you go to my gallery, you might have already seen this one. Who knows? There are a couple of other builds up already for some other people as well. But yeah, I haven't posted them yet. I will go around to it at some point. I have so many builds I need to post. But yeah, so this is one of them. So if you want to download this build, you might have to scroll a little bit. Not really. It should still be on like the first few builds, but you never know. So I just thought I'd mention that in case you're like, hey, I can't find this on the gallery. I promise you it's there. Just scroll a little. But yeah, so again, since I have the form, I'm gonna go through it kind of with you guys to kind of get an idea of the house and like what they wanted, and also why I made certain design choices and stuff like that, and like who this build is for. So they gave a lot of directions about like the people living here, but not many about like the build itself. But they did say that it wanted to be built in this world in Komorebi, and then either on a 20 by 15 lot or a 30 by 20 lot. This ends up being on a 20 by 15 lot. This is actually my second time trying to build this. My boyfriend can attest to this, because the first time I tried just didn't work out. It just didn't look right. Like I genuinely finished the entire exterior, and then we were both just like, no, because I showed him it, and because I was like, there's something wrong, like help me figure out what's wrong. And he was like, I can't put my finger on it either, but there's just something wrong with it. So I scrapped that build, which was on a 30 by 20, and then I decided to build this, and I'm really, really happy that I decided to redo it because I do really love this build. And I'm also excited to use it for my save file, because that's also something with the builds that I'm like, if you want me to build your house, I cannot guarantee that I will build it. I decide which ones I want to do, but if I can use them for my save file as well, there's a higher chance of me picking it, because I am slowly but surely working on my save file, and this is going to be in my save file, which is really fun, because it also makes sure that I have like a bunch of different family dynamics. Like the one that is for this house, I had not thought of myself, But yeah, so this is my second attempt, but this is built on a 20 by 15. And then they wanted it to be in either this district or the other district that isn't snowy, if that makes sense, or like neighborhood. Because again, in the world of Mount Komorebi that we got with Snowy Escape, there are like 3 different neighborhoods. There is this one, which is in the bottom right corner kind of. And then we have the one that is more in like the city area, and then we have one that is like at the top, which has like some more like snowy cabins, stuff like that. And they said that they didn't really mind anywhere except for like the snowy area, which I totally get because that's more like a resort, like skiing resort type build. So yeah, either in this neighborhood or in the other one. So I kind of had, again, like a little bit of free hands when it came to like the exterior and stuff like that. And then they did say that they preferred if the build did not end up being above 200k. So I think this ends up being around 180, maybe something like that. I know it's under 200k, so like we're fine. But I genuinely don't remember. I didn't even keep track though when I was building this, because I knew that when I'm building like Japanese homes, everything that we got from Snow Escape is relatively cheap, like in the menu. So my Japanese builds tend to not be too expensive unless I'm building like a really, really big house. But yeah, this house ends up being still like relatively expensive. It's like 180,000 simoleons, something like that, but it's not like that expensive for one of my builds. My builds usually end up being around over 200 just because I don't limit myself and I love clutter. So there's that. They also did not have all the packs, but they have most of them. And as always, I will have listed all the packs that I use in this build down below. If you guys only have like a couple of packs or just base game stuff like that, I will still make the build. Well, maybe. It's not guaranteed, but that's not one of the things that like makes me not want to do a build. Having pack restrictions is fair. Like, I totally understand it, and you not having all the packs is not going to turn me away from not wanting to do your build, if that makes sense. There are other factors in that, but I still love making like pack limited builds and like base game builds. So again, don't be scared to put that you only have a few packs. Like, that's totally fine, or none. I don't care. And then for style and stuff like that, they said that they wanted a Japanese house, and what I will say is that they sent me their Pinterest board of like this entire family and like of house and stuff like that, and the houses, there wasn't really one that I was clicking with. It was more so like the house vibes that I got, and I was looking in my own like Japanese like Pinterest section that I have like saved if you get what I mean. And I found this one build, and I'll pop it up here on the screen, which I kind of went off of, and I'm really happy that I went off of this one. Again, the first build, I went off of another one that was in one of their like saved pins and stuff like that, but again, there was something about it that I didn't really like, and they did say that I did have free reign, like those were kind of just ideas, and it did still like fit within the type of build that they wanted, so it's fine. And in the end, at least they said that they loved this build. Hopefully they weren't lying. But yeah, they did really end up liking the end result. And what I will say also is when I do builds for you guys, I make sure that I send progress pictures, like especially like I send pictures of the exterior and stuff like that. So like you guys can say like, hey, I don't really like that, like, hey, can you change that? Like, I will do it. No one has this far, but don't be afraid to like tell me if you want something to change, because it's for you. So I'm gonna do whatever you want me to do. And then there are like a few different color schemes, but they're mostly pertaining to like the bedrooms, which I will get to. And then they said that if it's possible that they also wanted an office/skill building room. I wasn't able to do it. This house is relatively small. I was able to fit 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and that was basically it. Obviously like the kitchen and stuff like that, but yeah, I wasn't able to fit more, sadly. But they do end up having all like in each room there ends up being like a computer area, so like it's fine. And then when it comes to who is living here, I will talk about it more when I talk about like their bedrooms and stuff like that. But what I will say is that there are 3 like young adults living here, or there's 2 young adults and then 1 adult, but yeah, I will get on talking about it. But before I do, I just want to mention a few things about the exterior and stuff like that before I move on into their bedrooms. So for the exterior, like I said, I did go off a picture from Pinterest, and I decided to use basically the majority of the exterior is just Snow Escape. Like the wallpaper, the windows, the flooring, like everything is just from Snow Escape, just because it's a Japanese house and that is the style we got with Snow Escapes, like it makes sense. But yeah, I decided to mix match kind of like the wood tone. So the wallpaper is one wood tone and then the windows are another wood tone. But I think it works out pretty well. At first, like normally when I do like Japanese builds, I tend to go for one wood tone for like the wallpaper and then the same wood tone for the windows, but I felt like it just like kind of blended together too much, so I decided to not do that, if that makes sense. One of the few things that isn't from Snow Escape when it comes to exterior, except from like some of the landscaping items and stuff like that, is the fence that I use. And the fence that I use around the build is a live edit one, so it's not in the fencing category, it's in the live edit menu. It is actually from Horse Ranch, I believe. Really random, I'm aware. But I think it just fitted really well. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I did go through like so many fences. I did cut that out in the end, but I went through so many fences, and this was the one that I kind of felt like fitted because in this neighborhood, neighborhood of this world, I kind of just think of like a kind of like countryside vibe. Although saying that, I do have some like modern builds in here for my save file, but I think it's more like countryside, so I just really like this fence. I can't really explain why, but I think it fits, at least in my not so humble opinion. And then the arch that I use to kind of like for the like entryway, like getting into the house, like between the fences, if that makes sense, that is from base game. I do use it also in the like on the side of the build where there ends up being a little like gardening area. The exterior, there's not a lot of like gardening space or like a backyard space, but I do end up fitting a table. The table that I use is like a round one that I believe is from Island Living, and then I pair it with an umbrella from Snow Escape. Really like that. And then the chairs I use, I believe, are from base game. And then I just kind of put like a bench out there, and then again some like gardening pots, and that's basically it for the exterior. The exterior was super simple, and because this build isn't that big, and then also because like the exterior didn't take me that long, this video ends up not being too long. Now I know it's over 30 minutes, and you might be like, Mal, that is a long video, and yes it is, but like for my channel it's not, because most of my builds are over 40 minutes, if not 50. So, you know, I know that next week's video or the video that will go out the week after that kind of depends. I've edited it already. It kind of just depends on how life is, because I'm going through some like issues right now, so it kind of depends on how, you know, life is. And then I also move next week, which is a whole thing. But either way, that one is going to be like over an hour, so that's kind of like my normal length. So for me, this is a short build. If you've been here before, you will know that. If you haven't, hi, I promise this is not normal. My builds are normally longer, not shorter. Most people will be like, oh, this is one of my longest videos, and it will be like this length, and I'm like, what do you mean? But anyways, sorry, tangent. But yeah, so the exterior went pretty quickly, and then I move on into the interior, and we do I've already done it at this point. I do the kind of like entryway, and the entryway is very simple. There is a bathroom there. There's that bathroom, and then the kind of like the main bathroom is on the upstairs level. But I was thinking that that's just like an extra bathroom, because 2 of the bedrooms actually ends up being on the first floor, and then this third one is on the second floor. So maybe having the main bathroom on the second floor isn't that practical, because like most of the people living here live on like the first floor, but it's fine. But yeah, so in there, in like the entryway, I just use like some regular like entryway items. I use like coat hangers, a shoe rack, and stuff like that. I use the mirror that I talked about in my last video, that is from City Living, and that looks kind of like a divider and a mirror together, and I love it so much. I do think I use it in a bedroom later on, or maybe I don't. I think I was going to use it, and then I decided not to, but either way, yeah. And then after the hallway, I move on, or like the entryway, I move on to another hallway, which I just put like a bookcase from the Snow Escape expansion pack, and there are the stairs upstairs, and that's basically for that hallway. And then I do the kitchen, and in the kitchen I end up going for some base game counters and cabinets. I almost never use those counters because they feel really cheap to me, but we got like new swatches of those cabinets or counters, both of them actually, a few years ago. I genuinely don't remember when. It's been a while, but I keep forgetting about them. So I need to remember that we have new swatches and they look really good. Although saying that, I believe the swatch that I use for this build are actually like kind of like the default swatch. So I don't even know why I said that, but generally I forget about these cabinets and counters just because they look kind of cheap to me. But for me, I feel like they fitted this house. This house is not cheap at all, but like, I don't know, I feel they just fitted in. I did struggle for forever to figure out which counters I wanted to use. Again, I did cut that out, but it took me a long time because I do really like the counters that we got from the Snow Escape expansion pack, but they have open shelves like all throughout, and cluttering those up can be a little bit time consuming, and I was like, I love my clutter, but I don't have the energy for that. So I decided not to do that. So I decided to just go with the base game ones. And then in the kitchen area, there also ends up being the dining table. And the dining table I use is from base game, and I pair it with some Snow Escape chairs. And then in that area again, I just put a art easel, a bookcase. I do also put I think it's like a heater that we got from Snow Escape. I put it both in like the kitchen area, in one of the bedrooms, and then also in the living room, kind of just as a decoration. I know it's functional as well, but I'm just mostly as a decoration, and I keep forgetting about that object, and I was like, oh, Snow Escape, you know, it's the world that I'm using, kind of works, I'm gonna use it in this build, and I did end up doing that. And then after the kind of like dining kitchen area, I move on into the living room, and in the living room I end up using the couches and armchairs from the Snow Escape expansion pack, because of course, what else would I use at this point? I think for this build I use mostly Snow Escape, and then also a lot of Growing Together. Really weird. They just apparently work well together, who knew? But yeah, in here I just put a fireplace, also from Snow Escape. And also, sorry if you can hear any weird noises. I'm recording this in the middle of the night. It's literally like 3 a.m. And somehow there's like weird noises going on outside. I don't know what's going on. But I also use a bookcase from, again, Growing Together in the living room. And I cluttered that up. And yeah, I will say with this build, it is not like a traditional Japanese house. From the exterior, it might look like it. But I was thinking that they probably had the interior like renovated at some point. So when the people that bought this house bought it, or maybe they're renting it, because I think for the storyline it would make sense that they would more so like rent the house. They kind of like updated it so it doesn't have like traditional like Japanese features, but I think still looks good. Again, the exterior is more traditional than the interior, but yeah. And then I just finished up the living room with some more like cluttering items and so a lot of plants and stuff like that. But moving on and talking again now about the Sims living here, because after the living room I will move on and do the first bedroom, and I will actually go out of order from how they wrote it down, because I'm going to talk about it in the order of the bedrooms you will see me do, if that makes sense. Now that I think of it, it doesn't matter for you guys because you won't see me read it, but if I'm messing up, it's because I'm reading it out of order from how I'm seeing it, if that makes sense. But what I will say is that this house is for an adult woman and then 2 young adult men. And so the first bedroom you will see me do is for the brother what is for the brother to the adult woman, and their name is August. And like I said, they're the brother to the adult woman, and it says like I'm just gonna read what they wrote so you guys get it. A young adult man, August, Elena's brother, or Eliana's, I think is actually how I say it, and that's the adult woman. He's currently at university in Komorebi, and then it says playing pretend is fun, which honestly it is. Obviously we only have one university in this game, and it's in like Brightchester, the word that we got with the university pack, but like we can all imagine that the university is in Mount Komorebi if we want to. And then it says he likes snowboarding, skiing, and fitness. He's also trying to learn guitar. Wellness, cooking, and baking are some other skills he has. I have no clue what job he's going to do in the future, maybe detective, or what he's actually studying. His favorite colors are yellow, green, red, and blue. So for his bedroom, I decided to go with a bed from Seasons expansion pack, I believe, and I went for it in this kind of like yellow swatch. It took me again forever to figure out a bed. You didn't see it because I cut it out, but genuinely I think it took me like 10 minutes to figure out the bed that I was going to use in this bedroom. It also takes me forever to figure out the layout of this bedroom. You will see me go through like 15 different layouts because it took so long. But yeah, again, I used the kind of like yellow swatch of this bed from Seasons, again because they really like yellow. And then above the bed you will see me do at first, and then it becomes the side of the bed because again I switched the room around. I used this posters slash like wall decorations from Seasons that I almost never use, and it has this like snowboarding person on it, like there's just a guy snowboarding basically, and again to kind of like signalize that hey, the sim really likes snowboarding. And his bedroom ends up being pretty simple. Again, it's the first one you will see me do, and in here he has also a desk. Like I said before, all of the rooms ends up having desks, so they do have their own little space. But yeah, I just cluttered it up. I did put some like studying notebooks, I believe. I don't know if they were the ones that are from like the actual menu or if they're from like the live edit menu, like the ones that you actually do for like homework if you're at university. I think I put one of those books in the other bedroom that you will see me, like the second bedroom you will see me do. But yeah, I did put that in here as well to kind of just like signalize like, hey, he likes snowboarding, but he is in university. So yeah. And then above the desk, I put I don't know how to put it, like call it, like the kind of like whiteboard slash corkboard that we got from Discover University. Again, university thingies. I was thinking that on there he kind of just puts when he has deadlines and like when there are parties and like where they are, and then also just on the like corkboard, what's it called, the corkboard part of the whiteboard, if that makes sense. He just has, you know, some like photos and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, it's a very short and sweet bedroom. I do end up putting also a guitar in here because he is into playing the guitar. I do put an ottoman, and I think the ottoman I use is from Lovestruck, I believe. Again, took me a long time to figure out which ottoman I want to use. And the wardrobe I use in here is from City Living. I almost never use this wardrobe anymore. I used to use it all the time. It used to be like my go-to wardrobe. But then, I don't know, something happened and I just stopped using it. But I need to start using it again. Although I don't really like the swatches that we have it in, because we have it in this like dark brown swatch, which I use in this room, which is like the only swatch I really used it in. Maybe the white one, but then it has some like really, really bright colors. And if you've been here before, you will know that I don't really like a lot of bright colors. I did talk about this in my last video, because then I did like a little bit more of a colorful build. As colorful as it gets for me, if that makes sense. But then after that bedroom, I do the second bedroom, which is for another young adult man. And again, I will just read, you know, what they wrote. And it says, another young adult man, Telvin. He's the best friend of August, so the best friend of the bedroom I just did, and has decided that he also wanted to go to Komorebi to study there. Sorry, I'm messing up. My throat is hurting. Can you tell? It then says, I don't know much about him yet, but his favorite colors are red and blue. He's also probably, I can't read. He's probably going to be a civil designer. Why did I think I said engineer? I don't know. He also likes fitness. Maybe he likes painting and playing video games in his spare time. And I took that maybe and erased it and just went with the painting and video game theme in this room. So for him, I used the bed from the Growing Together expansion pack. Again, I used it a lot in this. I will say, when I was playtesting this build, this room was giving me the most I don't know, the most of difficult times. I can't speak. Sorry, this voiceover is a mess. But yeah, it gave me just a difficult time, this room, because the bed was too far out for my sim to like be able to go to the desk. In the end, I figured it out. But yeah, there ends up being the bed again from Growing Together, and then the desk I use is from Base Game. And on here, like I said before, I do put like the debug notebook from Discover University, where you like do your homework. I just cleared up with some like other things. There's a stereo, stuff like that. And then next to the desk, there ends up being a little like calendar from Seasons. And then I also put this kind of like video game poster, I guess, like framed poster that I believe we got with the Comfy Gamer kit. I almost said Cozy Gamer. The Comfy Gamer kit. I believe we got that with, and it's supposed to be like different iterations of the Sims games, and the one I used in here was like the Sims Medieval. I really like that. And then he also ends up having an art easel in here, again, just for a few different more like activities. I always struggle with rooms that aren't like for teens or kids and stuff like that, because they can't be, I want them to be a little bit more like mature, so I don't know how to color them, but I think it ends up working out in the end. The dresser I use in here is from Seasons. No, it's not from Seasons. What am I talking about? It's from Snow Escape. Actually, I know what I think is from Seasons because I use a dresser from Seasons later. But yeah, it's a very simple room. Again, both of those two rooms are very simple. They are next to each other and they're basically like copies of each other. But I tried to have the kind of like rotation of items and stuff like that, like the layout of the rooms be a little bit different, even though they're basically the same. I try them a little bit different, and then I move on upstairs to the only bathroom you'll see me do. Again, there are 2 bathrooms, but this is kind of like the main bathroom. The other bathroom does end up having, you know, the sink, toilet, and then also a shower, but this bathroom that you will see me do end up also having a tub, so you can take a bath in here if you want to. The only kind of like traditional thing I kept with this build for like Japanese culture is having the toilet in like a separate room from the rest of the bathroom. I don't remember what that's called. I know it has like an actual name for it. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, I decided to do that just because I feel like that would be something that would be hard to like get away from renovations, if that makes sense. Like literally plumbing is like the biggest pain in the ass when you're doing renovations. Trust me, we're currently trying to figure out how to redo our bathroom like IRL in my parents' house, and it's been a little bit of a pain. So yeah, just saying, like, bathrooms can be really hard, so maybe that's like one of the things that they kept, but they have updated, like, you know, the bathrooms, so they are pretty modern except for maybe like that thing. To be fair, I do still think that modern bathrooms in Japan have this, like they have the toilet separate just for like hygienic reasons, and also because then you can go to the bathroom and someone else can be in, you know, the rest of the bathroom. Wait, you can go to the toilet and then the rest of the people can be in the bathroom, although to be fair, you would have to obviously like wash your hands and stuff like that, so you still have to walk in there. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyways, after that bathroom I do the final bedroom, which is for Eliana, like I said before. And again, I'm just gonna read you what they wrote me. And it says, an adult woman, Eliana, I think that's how you pronounce it at least. She's originally an engineer, but she also loves writing. When they moved to Komorebi, she starts by publishing her books. She also really liked cooking and baking. Knitting and running are also hobbies she enjoys. Her favorite colors are purple and red, which she likes to combine with black. She also likes green. So for her room, I decided to go with a bed from City Living that has this beautiful like purple cover, which if you've been here before, you will know purple is my favorite color. So of course I would like that bed. But in here, I kind of tried to go with the whole like she's an author now perspective. So next to her desk, which by the way is from Discovery University, I believe, I put this like big bookshelves, which neither of the other rooms had. So she has this like big bookshelf, and in there I do later put some like books that are kind of like on display, and I was thinking that those are like the books like she herself have written. So like, you know, she has them a little bit on display. Maybe she has them, you know, signed and ready, so like if anyone comes and visits and they're like, hey, I love your books, can I get a signed copy, she already like, you know, has it ready. It's such a small little detail. Like no one is probably gonna notice it, but it warms my heart knowing that it's there. And then again, she likes red and purple, and normally those are not two colors that I would put together, but for the lamp that I put on the desk, I put it in this like red color. I believe that light is from Lovestruck, I believe so. I put that in this red color. Again, not something I would ever use normally, but I think it works out. And then I just cluttered the rest of the room up. The dresser I use in here is from Seasons. That's why I was messing that up earlier. And I just cluttered up with a bunch of different things. I did forget about her liking to knit, but you will see in the screenshots that I do go back. When I was playtesting this, I was like, oh right, she likes knitting. So I did go back and put a knitting basket next to the bed. So you will see like next to the light that I put next to the bed. That was a lot of next. Next to the light. Sorry. I put this kind of like book thing. It basically looks like something you would have like magazines in normally, but I delete that, and there is where I end up putting the like knitting basket, which we obviously got from Nifty Knitting. And yeah, and then I just cluttered the dresser up, and that's basically the rest of the video. And so yeah, it's a little bit shorter than normal, but I hope you guys liked it, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.